Hi, so how do you draw your own anime style characters? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today in this video. Hi, my name is Luis Escobar. I'm a storyboard artist on the Simpsons television show. I've been working on the show for over 20 years now, and I'm here to empower you. So, I got a question on my website in the comments that went something like this. Hi, I'm new and I just created my own website on Google Sites. It is called Art for Pros. I want to create my own anime character and need to know what should I do first. I want to create a male and female. Have any ideas? All right, so this is my answer to him. Hi, thanks for the question. Anime style is a superficial design choice you apply to a solid head structure. The first thing you ought to learn to do is draw people. Representational or naturalistic is best. Once you get that down, you can start experimenting with different styles. There isn't a step-by-step formula for this style since there are many variations of anime style within anime itself, even though there's lots of books that try to give you a formula. And the best anime artists know their anatomy very well. So, I think my answer will probably not be to your liking. My answer is simply this: become a great draftsman, and you will be able to do anime style at will. And this is usually my standard answer to this question. A lot of the time, the question comes from a place where you kind of want a shortcut to be able to draw some in some way without going through the hard work of having to learn the foundations of the craft. It's kind of like not being good at writing, say, sentences or paragraphs, and then coming and asking me, well, how do I write like Stephen King? Well, first of all, you need to learn how to write sentences and paragraphs. And then you have to learn how to be able to construct clear ideas and messages through your writing. And then you have to also learn story and how story works, and you have to learn how to do prose, and then you have to learn how to connect with people. There's a lot, right? There's a lot that goes into being able to write. So it's kind of like there's no real shortcut. So that's why I say just become a better draftsman, and then a little by little, and then you'll be able to do this sort of thing. However, I know that this is really unsatisfying and it's not as helpful as you may want it to be, which is the reason I have my website. Now, if you go to thedrawingwebsite.com, and then you'll see that I have levels here. So here, let me show you here what I've got. I've got, you get started here. Then you've got level 0 and level 1. Now, I recommend, it's free, so why not take a look? I have the level 0 stuff is very basic foundational things, but it's really important. There's one chapter in there, or one lesson in there about design, two actually, that is very, very important, and it's very, even though it's basic, the most basic foundational drawing things you can learn, it is something that is very high, and it's a very advanced idea and notion that I'm putting forth. Okay, and so what ends up happening is then you go into level 1, and here's level 1, and with level 1, you get I build on all the stuff from level 0. So then now we're talking about perspective. We're talking about three-dimensional forms. We're talking about gesture and dynamism and rhythms and deeper, more solid character designs, compound forms, learning to copy, even inking and things like that. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because once you start getting the notions, the foundational concepts down, then I actually went and created bonus material, which is in fact formulas, and some of the formulas are anime formulas because of the popularity and because I wanted to help people who have questions like this about anime. So I'm going to click on this one right now. The nose formula, at the time of this recording, hasn't been posted, but is going to be posted in a few days or a few weeks. Uh, Mouth formula, stuff like that. So I'm going to be working on all these things. But let me explain why I decided to do these formula things. So drawing is in similar, is like martial arts. And like cooking. So I'm going to use first Drafu as an example, martial arts as an example. You first learn to get better in shape, right? So you're in shape, and then they teach you the forms, they teach you moves, okay? And then after, and the forms and the moves are what are formulas. They're and oftentimes the formulas then are used to practice certain things. So jab, jab, cross, hook, that sort of thing. Boom, 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 and then you just keep doing that until it just becomes muscle memory. So if you ever have to get into a fight, you've got this formula that you've always worked with, right? This is what this is, and when it comes to cooking, it's a similar thing. You could be given all the tools, right? Here are the knives. Here are the ingredients. Here are all the types of food. These foods go good with this. You can mix this food. You can mix this with these wines with these foods. You could use these spices and mix them up with these foods, and they're good for this, that, and the other thing. But then you're going to want to at least show an example of a recipe that uses all these elements, the wine and the spices and this type of meat and blah, 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 so that you're able to put it all together and see how they all work together. And then from the recipe, once you get good at doing the recipe, then you can start, improvising. So what I've done here in the drawing website is I've given you just a talk generally about eyes, and then I explain eyes and the different types of cartoon eyes, how they work, rules that you may want to apply or discard. Here I do bubble eyes. Here I do Freddie Moore eyes. Here I do Freddie Moore is kind of like the Disney type eyes. Here I do Bruce Timm, and lastly, I do Takahiro Kimura anime eyes. And the reason why I chose this particular anime artist is because I like him. And because there is no such thing as a complete, totally standard anime eye. So I decided to take a single artist's eye type and then break that down so that I could explain it and see and show you how it works, why it works, what makes it an anime eye as opposed to, like I said, a Freddie Moore eye, that sort of thing. And on top of that, I also added this turnaround for the previous lesson, which was on heads, and I broke down heads in the same way. I broke down the head Freddie Moore head. I broke down a Bruce Timm head, just a regular old generic cartoon head, and the Kimura head, so that you could know what the formulas for heads could be, tend to be, that sort of thing. So, in all this to say that these are just formulas. Once you know how the principles, the basic fundamental principles of drawing, they are helpful once you get to that point. But before that, it gets trickier to do this sort of thing. So that's what I would say. If you want to draw anime style, learn the fundamentals, learn how to draw the basics of drawing solid, the fundamentals, which I put down on my website. It's free. You could just read all the information and know all that stuff. And then you could look at the formulas that I've created so that you could understand why I keep saying that it is a superficial design that you put on top of the basic fundamentals. Okay, so that's what I would recommend to you if you really want to get good at drawing anime and manga style. All right, so thank you for watching. I hope that this video has been helpful to you. If you found this video valuable, I would like to encourage you to return value for value by becoming one of my patrons over on Patreon. Not only will you encourage me to continue making informative videos that are useful to you, but you get extra perks too. For only a small investment of $1 a month, you can get all new videos I create months before anyone else gets to see it. Also, if you have any questions you'd like me to answer as a patron, you get priority and I answer your questions first. On top of that, when you're a patron at any level, you become part of a raffle where I send original art via mail to the winner of that month. The higher your tier, the better your opportunity to win. Higher tier patrons also get access to any art I do in high-res JPEGs and also full access to PSD files to any work I do, including the PSD files of these videos. Currently, there's a huge backlog of downloadable files you can get, so right away you're going to get quite a lot of bang for your buck. And the more patrons I get, the better these videos will get. The more content I can produce. In other words, the more you benefit. Please consider becoming a patron. Thanks. The link to my Patreon is on the screen and in the description of this video. And I will see you next time. All right, bye.